So I want to thank, before we get started, the National Breastfeeding Week team that's been working on kind of putting this format together. And we're literally doing our own QI work because this is the first time we've actually hosted a contest of this nature. So we're learning as we're going to in the delivery of it. So this year's theme is from WABA is Let's Celebrate Together. Um, we need to recognize that breastfeeding is a shared societal responsibility and it's not an individual responsibility. Every family deserves enabling conditions from robust maternity protection that to skilled counseling that makes choices to make infant feeding possible. When systems are designed to support families, breastfeeding becomes the foundation for a child's best start in life. And I think this is what this is all about, is those strong foundations. And so working on WABA theme of building those strong foundations. Also, kind of a reminder that in our 10-step framework, that of course step 10 is about coordinating discharge so that parents and infants have seamless care delivery. It is also, when we look at the principles, it's also the health promotion piece that we do as a community together to enable families. So that's why, World Breastfeeding Week is an opportunity that communities can work together with their partners to enable, support, and protect infant feeding. So just the BCC website has been launched, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago almost now. So it's looking a little bit different. So just want to draw attention to where you find the the National Breastfeeding Week Contest. So you're going to kind of click over to the news and events, and then you're going to slide down to the bottom where it says 2026 National Breastfeeding Week Contest. And when you open that, there's a simplified version of the rules, and then there's a much more complex version of the rules available there. And embedded within the rules is the links for where to do your application and submit your materials and things like that. And then the BCC website, the rules are that are posted in a link are available in one document in French and English. And then of course the website has the English version, and at the top on the right hand side you can click to the French version, and all the information is delivered in French. So that's where you're going to find your materials. Okay, next slide please. So the contest is basically open to anybody. We're going to kind of walk through the parameters of the contest, and then you'll have a chance to answer any questions. And we have the support of the New Brunswick team that is able to support our translation. So if you have any questions in French, you'll be able to pop them into the chat, and Janelle and Natalie will be able to respond. So the contest is open to all residents of Canada, basically, except for employees, the board of directors, any kind of agents of BCC, as well as members of the contest judging panel, and their immediate families are excluded from entering. Doesn't mean you can't submit something, but you can't submit it for the contest. Okay, if you have a great idea and you're a board on the board of BCC, you can still submit it, but it wouldn't be judged. Okay, it would be shared but not judged as part of the contest entry. And the entries can be developed by an individual or a team, and the submissions are open from July 1st to Friday, August the 31st at midnight, and that's Eastern Standard Time. And we realize that National Breastfeeding Week is the first week of October, but we have to allow ourselves time for judging in the month of August, and also then getting the materials prepared in French language and then posted. So that's why we need the buffer of time in August. So July 31st at midnight, Eastern Standard Time. And when submitting as a team or organization, it could be a hospital, birthing center, public health unit, community health center, or clinic, and a peer support group. And there's also an opportunity where it says other on the submission. It's a Microsoft Forms submission that you would fill out. And there's the opportunity, it says other, so you could click and fill in what other is. So it's basically, it's pretty broad who can submit. We're assuming that it'll be a lot of teams that will be working together. Okay, so what is the objective? What's this all about? So it's basically, if you have the opportunity, we really encourage you to go back onto previous years' entries, because they're all posted under that event, under National Breastfeeding Week. And they're actually above the 2026 little click on. But basically, you're going to create, the idea is to create an engaging, interactive activity to help celebrate National Breastfeeding Week. And once again, you can check it on the website, or even if you scroll back into some of the social media content from last year or the year before, you can see some of the items that were shared, just as a kind of an idea of how what we're looking for. This activity will be shared by the Breastfeeding Committee for Canada on their website and their social media. And the idea is to inspire others with your wonderful idea and to use it to celebrate their own National Breastfeeding Week activity. So basically, you're creating the template for others to engage and share and make their own. And perhaps it's something that has worked in the past for a team that you've been working with, and you can recreate it and share it for others or perhaps put your creative juices together, look at the theme and say, okay, what can we do as a group activity that's going to promote and support breastfeeding using this year's WABA theme. And of course, you can go to the WABA website and kind of unpack the WABA theme a little bit more. And there will be 3 prizes that will be awarded to the winning entries. And this actually prize money is meant to be used for your own kind of National Breastfeeding Week activity. So it's a little bit of seed money to actually help you make your activity go. I just want to kind of give an example of how simple it can be. So this was a word bubble, basically one of the activities from last year. And basically, it was as simple as doing a graphic with a word bubble, a little instruction sheet of how you could use it, basically have people fill it out and share on your communication board or social media. It doesn't have to be big and complex. So this is an example of how these, and this was actually became a popular one because it was easy to print off in here and you're good to go. So this is some examples of how it was used. So in Newfoundland, their teams used it a lot and did a lot of shares on social media with their messaging. Another center used it within the hospital lobby, and they asked people coming into the hospital to share how they support families with infant feeding. And then another team, actually, a community health center, actually shared it with each of their employees and asked them to create their message and post it on their office store during National Breastfeeding Week. So see how such a simple thing can help promote and share the messaging of the importance of some of the components of infant feeding. So how do you submit? So when you go to submit there's a Microsoft Forms that you're going to fill out, and you're going to basically tell us the title of the activity and a little description. There's a drop down box where you're going to tell us the goal of the activities. What are you hoping participants will learn? A suggestion of what materials may be needed. And if it's more complex, like truly like step-by-step instructions, because what has made these activities kind of successful is because they're easy to do. We don't have to spend hours and hours recreating the wheel. So make it really kind of transparent, step A, B, C. And of course, any supporting images, sketches, and directions. If you're doing some type of display, like this is yours to explode, what it's going to look like. So you can share any of those images and stuff. And of course, you have to be cognizant of the copyright rules, which we'll talk about as we go on. Okay, and how this is what it looks like on the website. Once again, a reminder of when you submit, we're asking the format to be to be in a Word document or using Canva. And of course, Canva actually is a beautiful because it's got all the graphics and stuff, and those are all copyright free images, and that can a Canva license, you can actually have sign up for a basic Canva license without incurring a fee too. The more the one with the more graphics and stuff, of course, there is a fee, but anyway, the basic one is free. And then this is key. When you go to submit it, we need to match your Microsoft Forms with your materials that you're submitting. So it's really, really key that you make sure you label both. So it's really clear to us on the file name that we're attaching your Microsoft form to this submission. Otherwise, it could be a muck in behind of trying to sort it. And, expecting that maybe if there's more bigger images and stuff, it's not always easy to transfer just through a Gmail account. So WeTransfer, which is also free, you can use that to transfer the files. And on the website, your chance, it's where you're going to transfer it is to the BCC admin. Her email address is included there. So you just have to kind of really read through it. And that's who it's going to go to. Okay. And then once again, the Microsoft form is there. And then there's another contest rules, the long form, if you just want to check off and make sure you've done everything that the judging panel is going to be looking at.
Thanks, Margaret. So the thing is, get creative. The activity needs to be your own idea and get lots of inspiration from all sorts of places, as Margaret has already indicated. And it helps a lot to go to the WABA website just to get an idea for what the spirit of the theme is. And be careful when if you use any of their logos or anything, that you do need to just drop them an email and ask them for permission. They have no problem returning that permission. They're trying to track who's all using their stuff. So they've got lots of good ideas on there, and you can see a past idea that Margaret's included on the slide there, making little bracelets. It's a lovely group opportunity. We got together, Margaret and I, to create a little example for this competition, just as a template, and we had a load of fun. We switched plants and we talked breastfeeding and we looked at the systems that change needed to happen, and we had a good time. It's about building community at every level. So whether you're directing your project to your colleagues or to your facility or an outreach to the public, the communication is the name of the game there. In terms of safety and feasibility, remember that the project must be safe to run in a group setting, obviously, and it should easily be available materials, and low-cost dollar store stuff is the best way to go. Must use copyright-free images if you're bringing external images in. And remember, as Margaret said, Canvas has a free account that you can open, as does the WeTransfer. So see what you can do with those two particular tools. We found those the easiest to deal with. The winning teams will submit 4 to 6 images to the BCC Multimedia Contact to share during National Breastfeeding Week. So this is part of the agreement. If you go through the competition and the judges select your presentation or your idea, then part of that submission is permission to share. your ideas via social media and the website. All appropriate contest submissions are going to be posted, whether they win or not. And we're going to ask you to consider sharing photos or videos of yourselves doing the project so that we can use that to share the messaging and inspire other people. So keep a good photographic journal of your endeavors so that we can have a nice a little summary at the end of the day of all of the work that we've done together. Don't forget to follow, like, and share Breastfeeding Committee for Canada's social media sites, whatever you have a handle on. We really need the exposure to get out there so we can spread the messages and rise some curiosity. The first prize, $500. Second is $300, and the third prize is $200. And you can buy a lot of tea and cookies with $200. So think about what you'd like to spend. It would cover your materials and so on. It's a really nice little incentive, and prizes are awarded as community funding grants to assist in your own activity, as Margaret has said. Prizes must be accepted as awarded and are non-transferable. So just a reminder that we need to be code compliant, WHO code compliant in our submissions. So no logos, no product placement, no industry ties, as you all know, and focus on support. That is the goal of this whole endeavor. So just be very much aware of the code. We have some exciting judges who are not affiliated with the BCC to come and do this work for us. So we really look forward to seeing what they make. They will be using a standardized format so that we can get through all of the submissions and have a fair and transparent way of looking at who are the winners. So to end off, Margaret's going to chip in now at the end too, but this is the first time we've taken a completely different approach to how do we celebrate National Breastfeeding Week in Canada. And we really wanted to do something in the spirit of inclusion, global outreach, get everybody involved. It's so much fun to do little crafty things. It's a way of relaxing, and it just brings the positivity out in all of our messaging. Margaret, I'll hand it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. So now we're going to move on, and Kathy, I'll just let you open up the mic. So and if you have any questions, then we can help answer them now. And then also, we're English speaking, so Natalie and Janelle, if will help us with the translations if need be, okay, in the chat. So, or actually they can unmute and answer in French too. So
absolutely.
So it's time just to ask your questions, okay? Because we understand that this is new, okay? It's a bit different what we're doing, but it's about engaging. It's about being part of the process and using your creativity, because you've got some great ideas out there. So
can I just chip in one small thing which I found helpful for myself to remember? And that is that when you look at the rules, Margaret mentioned there's the short version and that links to the much longer version. In order to be compliant with Canada's rules of competition, that is a very fulsome document that all these rules have been checked through by the BCC lawyer to make sure everything is according to the standards that are required. So don't be put off by looking at the long version first. I would suggest, I found it much more helpful to just look at the short version, and then you can use your longer version if you've got any need for clarification after that. This is all just to make sure that we meet the legal requirements for the competition.
Okay. And any questions? Anything we can help you with?
The other thing I think we should mention, and I can't remember if you already said it, but submissions go to only one point at the BCC, and that's the BCC admin's webmail address. So you're not having your submissions floating around in the ether. So just so that you know everything is nice and secure.
Mhm. And then if along the way, if you have questions, it's Heather, the PT committee. That's who is the link. Heather has sat on our committee and she's working on the symposium too. And so any kind of questions that are pop up, it's directed to the PT email, and then she'll direct it as need be to where it needs to go for answering. So remember too, it's like we're we're working through holidays and things like that. So somebody should get back within a couple of days. So just to any inquiries.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't see anything in the chat, Margaret, and everyone is quiet. So
Okay.
I am assuming that no one has any questions right at this minute. Last chance, folks, and then we will say thank you so much to support from New Brunswick for potential need to translate and for all the work you've already translated. And thank you to Margaret for getting all of this sorted out and posted and solving problems with technology. And we're really looking forward to getting lots of submissions.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Thank you for being part of our community and making this a go.
all right, folks, thank you very much.